Hello, Fight and Sight fans, viewers, and listeners. I'm your co-host, Brady Bunch. And with me, as always, your host, Timmy B. On today's episode, we talk to Bellator's newest and brightest star, talk about Nate Diaz calling Anthony Smith a dumb fuck, and we also talk about an upcoming fight, Fedor's last fight, and a whole lot more. Tim, hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fight and Sight Podcast. Let's talk.
She is back on the show for her second time, Brady Bunch. I'm so excited. We first met our guest back on episode 71 last year. She's a BJJ black belt, considered to be one of the most important female competitors of our generation. She made the jump to MMA less than 2 years ago and has already amassed a perfect 4-0 record under the LFA banner, training with big names like Kat Zingano, Angela Hill, Jessica Penne, former friends and guests of the podcast, Janae Harding and Tai Shea. She's now signed with Bellator MMA and is set to make her promotional debut on February 25th. We're so excited to chat with her again and to wish her a happy early birthday. Everybody, please welcome to the podcast, the Fight in Sight nominee for Female Fighter of the Year 2022, Jena Bishop.
Hi.
Hello, Jena. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Amazing.
Good. Congratulations on all your successes last year.
Thank you.
Capped off, of course, by being a nominee for Fighter of the Year on this podcast. That had to have been the biggest thing of the year for you.
Yeah, the biggest.
The biggest, for sure. You only came in second to Wei Li Zhang.
Oh, man. Okay. That's okay then.
Yeah. But I predict that you will be Female Fighter of the Year for 2023, not just on this podcast, but everywhere.
I like that. I'm with you.
I like it. And of course, happy early birthday to you.
Yeah, same to you.
Brady Bunch, we share the same birthday, February 22.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And
our kids are born on February 22nd.
That's what it says under my name right there. Cool people are born on February 22nd. So happy early birthday. And of course, you get to celebrate your birthday by fighting in Bellator at Bellator February 25th.
Yes.
So
in Ireland too. So it's kind of dope.
That's pretty awesome. Super excited for you. You know, when we met you on the show, you were like the nicest person. We were so happy to meet you. And, your accolades spoke for themselves. All of a sudden, boom, the image comes out. Jena Bishop signs with Bellator. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Like there's the cool photo by your management sucker punch. So tell us about Bellator. How did that come to be?
So I was trying, after I finished out my fourth fight, that was like my contract with the LFA. I was, seeing what's next. I knew that we were looking to get into the bigger promotions after that, especially with a 4-0 record. I thought, I'm trying to just get this fighting thing, do as much as I can, as fast as I can. That's like my goal. And then, Bellator I guess my management was in talks with Bellator and they were really excited to offer me a contract. I think as far as I know, excited to have me as part of their, on their roster. And, it's an offer that I don't think I could say no to. So I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm really happy too, with how quickly that they, were able to get me on a card. It was almost, immediately they were like, hey, what about this girl, this date? Let's go. And I'm like, yes, because that was the struggle with LFA. And it's not LFA's fault. It's just that, at certain levels, people can turn down fights easier than when you're on a big promotions roster. So was really happy to see that they were able to, get me going right away because I don't want to waste any time.
Yeah, you got no time to waste. I remember because when you were on the podcast, you were saying the first time you were on the podcast and you were saying, girls are turning it down because they don't know what I'm going to bring to the table. They're worried about the jiu-jitsu. And then I was laughing because I was posting videos of your fights on your third and fourth fight. And to kind of quote Nate Diaz, I was like, oh, so you're a striker now. Because you were like knocking chicks around with your striking, and they're probably sitting there going, I thought this was a jiu-jitsu girl.
Yeah. I mean, it's you, I have to be, if I don't have like a well-rounded game, of course jiu-jitsu is like gonna always be my first love, like my favorite thing, and that's what I always would want to get to. But if people like run from me, they do everything but like try and get close to me. So it's like I'm gonna have to be proficient on the feet to be able to get to those, like to get to do jiu-jitsu. It's like I have to be able to like threaten from everywhere so that people aren't just so afraid of like me doing only one thing. So if they're trying to negate my jiu-jitsu, well, like I need to at least have a threat. So I've been working with my coach AJ Matthews. He is fought in Bellator as well, and he is hopefully make me pretty sick, as you would say, at striking.
Yeah, no, it's looking good.
Cool.
When it comes to Bellator, I'm very excited because compared to other organizations, they do a hell of a good job with their entranceway.
Yeah.
The Jumbotron, the smoke, the lights, the music.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good show with Bellator.
Yes.
Are you excited about that as much as you are fighting in the cage? Because I feel like that's like a dream, right? Like being able to walk out in front of a Jumbotron like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. I've done kind of like not as big of events, but similar in jiu-jitsu. Like with certain promotions, they've had some like fighting in Abu Dhabi for the World Pro. It's a huge production. It's like televised on TV there and everything. And then doing little pro shows like Fight to Win and stuff. They do like their production value is pretty incredible. So those kinds of things. But it's not on that level, not on the Bellator level. And so I'm like really pumped for that, I think. But ultimately, like none of that stuff really isn't like what motivates me, I guess. Like, I just want to get in the cage. Like, that's like, that's cool. It's like a bonus, Yeah.
No, you're talking to a super dork, Jena.
But I do because I was like, because Bellator does like allow like people to do some kind of craziness. And I'm like, I told my husband, I was like, at the right time, my goal would be to like have like Nelly like walk me out, like be like rapping with me because I'm like from St. Louis. I'm like, that would be like so iconic.
All right. Well, I'm sure Nelly is watching this podcast, so Nelly will get in touch with you. That would be awesome. Yeah, I love how they allow like all the get-ups, they allow all that stuff, and then of course Bellator allows sponsorship.
Yes.
And so you've got to be a sponsor's dream, right? Like, we will see. But I mean, this is big, right? Because that's a big thing that a lot of fighters complain about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did want to ask you, because you're not the typical debut fighter for Bellator. You are someone that's coming in with a name, with a history.
Yeah.
So how important is it for you to have been able to be with an organization that allows you to get your own sponsors?
I mean, that's huge because just from a standpoint of making money, it's pretty awesome. And then I think it makes you more desirable from a sponsorship, like viewpoint, because I know that my sponsors, Hyperfly,
yeah.
They were actually kind of stoked when they found out that I was with Bellator. They're like, okay, we're going to make your signature like fight kit, like all this stuff. Like they have like a lot more freedom to, play with things. And it's just, I get to choose my own thing. I don't want to have to wear it. Like, I mean, no offense, but that Venom stuff is just not my favorite.
It's nobody's favorite, Jena. So
And then the freaking shoes. God, I have to wear those when I go.
The clown shoes, the red shoes.
Right, the Rock. I love the Rock, but man, you need some style tips on your shoes. They're terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really bad.
Not even the red ones too.
Yeah, why can't they just wear the black ones? Like what?
They didn't even offer them the last time I went to corner. I'm like, I only gave us red. I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, no, terrible. But no, so and I do notice always that you've had Hyperfly as a sponsor. And I think last time you were on the podcast, I didn't get to ask you, but Hyperfly's been behind you for a long time, right? I did want to give those guys a shout out because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I been with them for just like since I started fighting. That's when like doing MMA. I have actually won my first world title wearing a Hyperfly gi to like at brown belt a long time ago, and then was sponsored by some other people, but just got reconnected with Hyperfly after like when I was going into MMA, because I've always like, no matter who my sponsors were, I'm always like, every time I see them come out with some new gear or gis or stuff, it's always like the best stuff. They're always like thinking outside the box and like doing more than, like they did a Jumpman collaboration with that, like a really dope Jumpman gi. They had like a Carhartt one, a Champion one, and they're just always like going above and beyond, like more like in the fashion sense of things, where it's like, I don't know. So I've always loved the brand, and I'm so happy that they love me too.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Of course. And of course they're going to get behind someone like you. Now, I don't need to know dollar amounts or anything like that, unless you want to say it, fine. But in terms of sponsorship dollars, dummies online are always like guessing how much these people are making with sponsorship dollars. And one of the things about the Venom deal is like, okay, well, if you're a nobody and you go in there, maybe that guaranteed $2,000 is pretty good.
Yeah.
But for you, percentage wise, compared to what you're going to make in the fight, like how you're making like a good amount in sponsorship money, like
I'm making a decent amount right now. Like I haven't really like set out a lot to like I'm making more than what that would be, like the Venom sponsorship. And then, I haven't really like tried to get a lot of other sponsors, but I know, like, especially from talking to some of the other people who have been in Bellator, what sponsors are paying them. Like a friend of mine, like $50,000 just to wear a hat. That's with their, just to walk out in their hat, so it's like, and that's high level so I'm like, I know it's only gonna go up and up and up. So I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. And then plus the fact that Bellator's pay is just so much better than what the UFC offers.
Okay. So then is that real? That the pay?
Yes.
And can I say like how much better? Like, is it double? Is it
more than? For me, like from what I know that UFC starting out, most people at, it's like more than double.
Triple?
No, like one.
Okay, so 2 to 3 times around there. Yeah. Okay. And then can I ask how many fights was your deal?
6.
Oh, damn. That's a good amount.
Yeah.
And so many people were writing in questions because they wanted to know from like a new fighter. One of the other questions was, do they have to offer you a certain number of fights per year? That's something we always hear.
I don't think so. I think it's just over. It's like over like 2 years or something like that. 6 fights, 2 years. It's not like this many per year. I think that's what it was, 2 or 3 years.
Okay. But then what if they just didn't offer you a fight? I mean, they won't do that, but
yeah. I mean that, I don't know.
I had always heard that UFC contracts said that we guarantee to offer you 3 fights a year. So like they had to offer you 3 to help you finish your contract kind of thing. So they couldn't lock you in.
I don't think that that's
true.
Yeah. From everything that I know and knowing people on both sides, fighting in Bellator, fighting in the UFC, it's like, I don't think that, because like that's the thing that I've heard a lot of people say in the UFC, where it's like they'll sign you but they'll just kind of keep you on the shelf, and like they won't give you the fights if they don't like you, they don't want to promote you. It's like certain people, they might not. And it was, I can't remember his name. There was a guy who recently, it's like they kind of shelved him for like the best years he would like, his like in his prime, and then he's like he was like on this like win streak, and then came back and is like now on a lose streak, but he's like quite a bit older now, and they like keep him in under contract, so you can't really go anywhere else, but they're not fighting you either. So that's,
I don't know. Okay, next
I've heard
time
a lot of stories like that, not in Bellator, but yeah, from the UFC.
All right. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna have to ask the next UFC fighter that we have on about that, because I have heard that there is a guaranteed offer thing. Yeah. Because otherwise it would be no fair. They just if you say the wrong thing, then they just stop offering you fights, and you're stuck in a contract you can never fulfill.
Yeah.
Because some of them don't have time zones, like time limits too.
Yeah, I think I would imagine that people might write that stuff in.
Okay.
Or add it to their I don't know.
They'd be smart about it, right?
If you're smart, or if your management like knows what's up. But I don't know that they have to commit to so many fights per year.
Okay. And there was recent drama at Bellator with Bader and Fedor when they announced their pay after the fight. So I'm just going to put a quick image up on the screen.
Yeah.
So they announced that Ryan Bader had got 150 and Fedor got $100,000 for their main event title fight, heavyweight fight. Mm-hmm. And then Bader went on the Ariel Helwani show saying, no, totally wrong, totally fake.
Yeah. I would imagine that is not a correct number based on the contract that I was given and what championship fights purse would be. So
yeah. Like, it's just weird to me. Why would the California State Athletic Commission release a wrong number?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what that is about, because that is kind of weird. Yeah. I thought like most of all of that's like super public, like record.
Yeah.
But apparently not too public.
Well, I mean, yeah. So I reached out to the California State Athletic Commission to see if I could get someone on the podcast or to get a comment back. And they've written back to me saying they'll get back to me.
Okay.
Because I'm like, well, where did you get the number from? And then what is your responsibility to release it to the public? Why do you have to? And then if you did, why is it wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, maybe they're just trying. I don't know. We could get real conspiratorial there.
Wait, what would the conspiracy theory be?
I mean, just, the UFC like trying to like get rid of rumors that they don't pay as well, that Bellator pays more. I don't know.
That's a deep conspiracy.
That was like, I know. I'm like, I don't know why my brain went there, but
love it. Yeah, it's on this show.
No, that's good. That's good. So, and I really appreciate you answering these questions. Does your contract stipulate a different pay if during that period it becomes a title fight?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
And so the goal, of course, because Brady Bunch, last time Jena was on our show, we noticed that you had empty shelves behind you.
Oh, yeah. My husband, this is my husband's office, so.
And we said you need to fill that with some belts.
Yes.
So a nice Bellator belt would really fill that up.
Yeah, I don't know if I put it in his office, though. I would put it maybe in my living room.
All right. Well, then for the next time you're on the podcast, it could be there.
I'll put it there, though. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you. How excited are you for the talent that exists in the flyweight division at Bellator? It's a pretty big division. They've got a lot of good names. Mm-hmm. Liz Carmouche is the current champion.
Yes.
And are you friends with her? I saw her on your Instagram.
Yeah, I've trained with her several times, and we've even done like some private lessons together with Justin Flores. Like, always need a person. So yeah, like I know her. Yeah.
Would you be so friendly that you couldn't fight?
No.
Okay. So question answered. Yeah. So is there anyone you won't fight?
I don't really think so. I mean, like, I'm also like kind of like trained at the same, or like Alima is like somebody that I do train with quite a bit too, which is a little bit more friendly, but I don't know what her plans are. And honestly, like right now, I'm like, I'm not saying I wouldn't fight, I'm open to fight whoever. I just want to fight whoever is going to get me to the top, and I just want to be the best. So like, if somebody else in my way, and I need to fight him. So be it.
Done. Speaking of fights, one of your sisters wrote in and asked, which sister is most likely to beat you in a fight?
None of them. They know that.
All right. Not even, maybe would it go to a decision?
Do they train?
No, not even. My youngest sister is probably the best athlete. Like she is, but both my two younger sisters, they play basketball. And then I have another sister that's a year younger than me, and she was in softball and stuff, but none of them fight. And I think they would panic, and one of them's super claustrophobic. I could just use that against her and just smother her.
All right. I mean,
they know we even before I was doing like jujitsu at all, and we were fighting as kids, like they were afraid of me.
Now, this is one of my favorite fans of the podcast, your sister, Shay Welker.
Yeah.
She asked, will you ever move back home to be with your favorite sister?
No, she can move to San Diego.
Okay, fine. All right.
I mean, that's a better option, right?
Okay. But the sisterly love at least extends to saying, hey, come on down and live out here with me. Of
course.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Just so you know, your sister and I always message each other when you're fighting. We always are cheering you on. So it's really nice.
She's always I feel like she's always pregnant when I'm fighting. And then she's like, can you just not send me over the edge with stress or whatever? I'm like, yeah, I mean,
well, you haven't made us stress at all. Like, your fights have been fantastic. You did great in LFA. LFA was a great promotion. They did a great job getting you good fights and promoting you very well. It was excellent to watch. Yeah. Sucker Punch is your management company. Mm-hmm. That's pretty awesome, right? We talk a lot about management, Brady Bunch. We talk about the importance of having good management. Sucker Punch is champions all over the place.
Yeah.
Bellator, Johnny Elbin, Jamal Hill, right? And just champions all over the place. How important is it for you to have them in your back pocket, supporting you?
I mean, they have been amazing. Since, not even seeing me fight, and were willing to sign me and help me out. Even on a contract that I had gotten previous. So it wasn't it's not like they're making a lot of money off of getting me, helping me to get fights in LFA. Nobody's really making a lot of money doing that, So actually, I think I lost money most of my fights just traveling and training, paying for it. But no, it's but they have been so amazing, just so supportive. It's whether I want to continue or not, it's I feel I don't know. I think from talking to it, it's after you have a fight, I think a lot of times there's almost this weird come down of win or lose, where you have this kind of almost depression type weird post-fight blues or something. And I think I've talked to my manager a couple of times, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, just because it's so hard to get fights and things were told to me that aren't necessarily true or whatever. You just go through all these emotions. And he's like, I mean, well, if that's what you want to do, I won't want to stop you. I don't want to stand in your way, but I think it would be silly because you're really talented. And I'm like, I know it's stupid, but I just needed to tell somebody that. And they've been so helpful. They just really have been amazing.
Awesome. Just last couple of questions, Jenna, if you don't mind. One, I just wanted to say, when I saw that you signed for Bellator, I was so happy for you, so surprised, of course, because I'm sure every organization would have been more than happy to have you. When you signed with Bellator, did recent instances with another organization have anything to did it have anything with you to do choosing not to sign with other organizations, bad publicity stuff,
not
slapping type incidents?
Didn't have anything to do with whether I signed or not. but it did make me feel a lot better about the decisions that I've made and where I'm at. There's a lot of things that have happened since signing with Bellator that have just really like solidified, like, this is the right place for me. This is where I want to be. I want to be with a promotion that is excited to have me, that wants, to help like me become, like, get to the place that I want to be as a fighter. And like, I am definitely very disappointed in the happenings with, slap incidents. And then you're going to really release a slap league right after that. Like, oh, it's bad taste. And other fighters that have, been accused of assault against, and domestic violence and things like that, where it's like, I don't care how big you are, like who your name is, how good you are. I'm not taking away from the skill as a fighter, but like, for me, I don't think you deserve to get that platform anymore. When you do things like that, I mean, and it sucks because it's all like alleged and whatever, but it's like, when you keep hearing the same stories about the same people, like, I don't think that's made up.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I agree. We said similar.
And then how happy are you that you don't have to drink this disgusting stuff?
Oh my God, I haven't tried it. Is it terrible?
For our audio only listeners, I'm holding up a bottle of Prime. So last week I tried it for the first time.
Okay.
When they announced the deal. And so I was like, okay, let me try it. It was so disgusting, Jenna. Like,
is it
really,
just like a hydration, like a Gatorade type thing? Or is it?
No, it's really sugary. Like, it's really, really sweet and gross tasting. And then I noticed on the bottle, it said not for children. And I'm like, so then I went, Brady Bunch, remember we talked about it, and I said, wait, it says not for children, but like, I know kids all over the place are buying this stuff up by the gallons. And then I went and I looked.
I was literally at the grocery store last week, and I saw like a whole bunch of kids coming in. They're like looking for it specifically. And it's like, because, it's like a YouTuber or whatever. They're all big on like TikTok and such. I'm like, oh man.
So I thought maybe it's just the flavor I bought, but no, now I bought one more just to make sure. It's gross. And yeah, it says not for children. And then I started looking at Gatorade, Powerade, whatever. None of them say not for children.
Okay.
And so it is basically just an probably overpriced, overhyped Gatorade, right? Thirst quencher, like electrolytes. Yeah, but
no, there's got to be something in it that's not good for children or pregnant
women.
It
has caffeine in it, maybe?
No idea. But anyways, at least you don't have to drink it, Jenna.
I know, yeah. Or I feel bad for Anna having to say, like, announce that long name, like, every time out of this corner that's like sponsor by blah, blah, blah. It's like a freaking mouthful.
Yeah, the Prime. Oh, you're referring to where they're renaming it the Prime Hydration seat or something, whatever the hell it is. Prime Hydration area.
Yes.
Nonsense, Jen.
Which somebody said this the other day, and I thought it was really, I was like, yeah, that's a great point. I can't remember who I heard talking about it, but the UFC taking away, like, making like your ability to have your own sponsors and like on your own uniform, and like, oh, like it gets just too, it looks like unprofessional and too like much going on. But meanwhile, now you look at the octagon and it just is a NASCAR vehicle, like just covered in different like sponsors. I'm like, okay, like only if you're making money, not if the fighter.
Yeah. It is odd. Last thing I'll ask you, which, because you're a BJJ star moving into MMA, what I appreciate is that, like, you went in, you did it. You're like, okay, I'm doing MMA, and there you are, you go in. Mm-hmm. One organization, One FC, I would have thought for sure that they'd be gunning for you, by the way. But they have their grappling league, like their grappling divisions, which they parcel out in amongst like the MMA cards, which seems very awkward. This girl here, I don't know if you know. Do you know Danielle Kelly?
I don't know her. I know who she is because of jiu-jitsu, but I don't know her. Yeah.
Okay. So then this won't offend you, which is good. They keep putting these people up against like non-jiu-jitsu people in jiu-jitsu competitions.
Yes.
So I'm showing a picture of Danielle Kelly. Her next opponent in 1FC grappling is Ayoko Miura from Japan, who has 0 grappling accolades. Yeah. She's a judo fighter. It's like, what is the point of this fight?
I mean, I think like a lot of what they're doing, because like you see it with like because Mikey, and it's like they're put in like the Rotulos, like they're putting them against like it's like Sambo versus jiu-jitsu or judo versus jiu-jitsu. It's like kind of the same thing, but not really. But it's like, I mean, we've all known, I think that's what the UFC kind of proved from the beginning, like the best like martial art, like it's like the whole point of it was like, look, jiu-jitsu works really well. And it's not, I'm not saying like it's, I mean, I think it's the best one, but there's obviously like, if you get hit, your jiu-jitsu might not be the best anymore. Like take a few punches. But I'm just saying, like, it just like, as far as the grappling things, it's like when you go to the ground, I don't think there's any debate anymore. So I don't know why they're doing that, but I think that they have their favorites, and there's like a reason that they're, I don't know.
But it's so weird. It's like people, I see people online going, "Oh, this is amazing. Can't wait for the Danielle Kelly fight." I'm like, well, she's not even fighting a jiu-jitsu person, and it's a jiu-jitsu match. Like what is going to happen here? She's going to win, and then big
and
whoopee.
I haven't seen
like she
like
beat
yeah, I don't mean to be like shady or anything, but like I haven't really seen her against the top level jiu-jitsu athletes either. Like she came in, I think the first time I even heard of her was on like a Flow Grappling, like Who's Number One. And I'm like, who is this chick? And like, I think she just has a big following on social media. So and she's like a decent black belt, and she's cute. So they throw her out there. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's it. But like, who has she beat with a name in jiu-jitsu? That's what I want to know.
Well, she's about to beat Ayoko Miura. So
yeah. I mean, I think it's like $50K for a win. I'm like, where was that money when I was doing jiu-jitsu? Only.
Yeah, I don't know if that's 50,000 US dollars. It might be 50,000 like Thailand baht. So it might come out to like $5. We don't know.
I think it's less.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're getting your numbers from the Nevada State Athletic Commission, who knows?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You never know.
Yeah. Brady Bunch, we've kept Jena quite long. Is there anything that you wanted to say to her before we let her go?
You know what? I sat back, I listened, I learned, I enjoyed it. Yes, and you know what? I can't wait. Happy early birthday. Can't wait to watch you win 6 fights straight. Sounds like you're willing to do it in 2 years, but yeah, it's been a pleasure and an honor. Good luck.
Thank you,
Jena. It's amazing to have you back on. Thank you so much, because I'm very worried that you're going to get way too popular now for us. Like,
no, never.
It's been a little bit. It's like, but good luck to you. You're going to do amazing. Sorry, Brady.
I'm sorry. I do this a lot. ADHD. I love your confidence. I know how talented you are, right? So you can back it up. We have spoken about one athlete in the past. What do you think of Kayla Harrison?
Oh,
good question.
Kayla is actually met her, and like we were sponsored by the same company, Fuji, a while ago, and we did like a photo shoot together. And she was such a sweet, like down to earth, like amazing person. It's kind of funny to see her in the MMA like scene, but I still feel like she kind of holds true to herself, like who she is. Like she's like, just there's no fluff with her. It's just like it says it is. I think she's like, she thinks she's the best, and she's freaking amazing. Like to win, like especially American, to have 2 gold medals at the Olympics is insane. Her skill is crazy, and then like to be doing what she's doing. So like I'm a fan of Kayla. I like her. She's shown me nothing but she's an awesome human.
All right. I dig it.
Nice.
Awesome human, and you also back up the athleticism and the skill. I love it.
Yeah. And she's a
Her arms are
multi-millionaire.
insanely huge. Like, that's what I remember about her. I was just like, holy crap. Like, they're like bigger than my husband's for sure. Like,
How
she's
dare
just a
you? How dare you,
monster.
Jenna? I'm going to edit that out so that your husband
He
doesn't have
knows.
to take that. Jenna, thank you so much for coming to the podcast. All the best to you. Have a wonderful
Thank
birthday. Have a wonderful fight in Ireland. Enjoy it. Enjoy this whole time in your career
Thank
and in
you.
your life. Kick ass. And hopefully we will talk to you again one day.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Happy
Thank
birthday
you,
to
Jenna.
too.
Thank you so much, Jenna. All the best to you. Have a good one. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. We kept her a little bit long, but dang, I love talking to Jenna. She's so cool and got some good stuff, right? So
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was really like, I learned a lot. It was interesting hearing about the pay. Like, your questions were great, the back and forth between the two of you. I didn't want to jump in and ruin any of it, right? But it was cool. It was cool.
No, please do. It is, you know what, I do think I feel a lot better and more comfortable when it's someone that I kind of know. Like, so like Jenna, we've spoken to her once before.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like it's a lot better because sometimes I'll go back to an interview and I'll be like, oh, like, why was I so frozen? Or why did I not like ask the right question? Because I feel sometimes I'm so worried. I'm looking down at my questions and I'm like, okay, I got to hit these. But with Jenna, it's more like just now a conversation. But yeah, okay. So Bellator. So the sponsorship is big. So she's 50,000 to wear a hat.
Yeah. Right. And you know what? There's some BJJ guy. I don't want to mention it.
Yeah.
Considered the best, but I saw him posting this week looking for sponsors. I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm not going to waste your time. Each sponsor is at least $500K each for like a friggin' rolling event, you know? But hearing that he's getting a hat, part of me wants to call bullshit on him, but part of me is thinking that he might be 100% actually earning that money from some people that believe in the brand and the hype and all that.
You know, there's another podcast out there, another Instagram page that I really like. It's called The Fighting Now, and it's a guy who runs a really good page, mostly dedicated to women and like sexy women, right? So, and hey, man, that's the niche, and it's good, and his page is good, and he gets on good fighters, and similar to us, he does a lot of like amateur or young pros, right? Because those are the ones that need focus. He sponsors fighters, and I don't know how much exactly he pays, but he sponsors fighters because he just says, I want to help them out. And so if it means I can, sponsor and give them like whatever amount of money to help them out, he does it. So that's really cool. I would love to do that with Fight and Sight at one point if I make money or have disposable income,
Yeah.
Like, that'd be pretty awesome. I do want to say, I will have disposable income.
Yes, both of us. We're going to make lots of money in the future. Let's manifest it. You got to believe it.
Yeah, right? Exactly. By the way, if you saw, I was sipping on some of this Prime. Again, for those not on audio, last time I tried the red, white, and blue. This time I'm trying the red one. Definitely better than the red, white, and blue.
Okay.
But still pretty gross.
All right.
Like, definitely, I don't know. Maybe because I grew up on Gatorade, but this doesn't, I don't know, tastes funny. And again, I'm going to sip it because I've got no other drink here. Rageworks Podcast Network. Thank you guys. Go to rageworksnetwork.com for a whole bunch of podcasts. We're part of that network. Jenna Bishop, we just saw. She fights up February 25th. Kyle Nelson went to a draw with Doo-Ho Choi, Superboy. And Jeon Kim, that was supposed to fight on the card, her opponent bailed out hours before the fight.
So frustrating.
Due to a medical thing, something. So Jeon Kim didn't get to fight. That's unfortunate. I didn't even realize, but Grant the Truth Neal, he was an awesome guest we had before. He fought at Bellator last weekend and won. So congratulations to that dude. I'm so happy for him. And coming up, we also have Albert Ochoa. He fights February 18th. So in 2 weeks, we probably won't have him on the podcast before his fight, but go celebrate him and cheer him on. He's fighting for the Influencer Championship Boxing Championship belt. So good luck to the King, Albert Ochoa. Lots to talk about, Brady Bunch.
Yes.
So much has gone on. And there's the things I'm trying to figure out all over the place what we should talk about. Next week on the podcast, Swayze Valentine returns, the only UFC and the first woman cut woman. She's coming back on because she's Swayze Valentine, so we're going to have her on for Valentine week.
It's meant to be.
Genius, right? That marketing. See how I tie that in? And when we have her on, I don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll just talk about her experiences and what's gone on with her life. We'll also talk about some romances and stuff, maybe, in MMA world. And look this up, Brady Bunch. And to the people listening, go look up the drama with Jessica Andrade and OnlyFans. And look that up before next week, so we'll talk about it.
All right.
That story is fucked up.
All right.
Go look up Jessica Andrade, OnlyFans. Look up that story, and you can go down kind of sad rabbit hole there. But go take a look at that story, and we'll talk about that next week, Brady Bunch. We talked about Fedor's last fight and the pay discrepancy, but I did just want to quickly get from you. What did you think about Fedor fighting Bader?
All right. I have mixed feelings about this. First of all, matchmaking could have been much better, right? Like, we all knew who was going to win, especially after their last fight, right? Like, the way he ended it in the opening of the last fight. We know that Fedor, not Fedor.
It's hard because Bader. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's aged out so much.
46.
Yes, he's still a beast, right? But they should have found some other classic, some other person around the same age, thrown them together, have a giant. Someone was saying, I think Shogun they could have done, right? Something like that, like
a Nogueira or a Frank Mir.
Yes.
Frickin' Rampage was in the goddamn stands. Get him to put on some shorts and get in the cage.
Yes. No, he's put on some size, but yeah.
Rampage is a heavyweight now. That's fine. I mean, I just didn't like it because it's like you're gonna do the celebration, but you put him out there to get slaughtered. And I don't know. I just didn't like it. I just wish that they had given him not an easier fight, but a more equal fight.
Yes.
So that win, lose, or draw, it would be like, okay, it was a good competitive match. Now let's celebrate your career. I just didn't like what they did. I just didn't think.
I kind of get it. But you know what? If we think about it, this is a pattern. This is a pattern in MMA. We see these greats have horrible endings. It's only the GSPs who played it smart, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? He risked it coming back, right? But he played it smart. He left again, right?
Yeah.
He kept his legacy intact, and it's not like boxing, right? It's a very different sport, and the older you get, especially when you've been in it for years, if you start later, I believe it might be a different story if your body has held up. But with the wear and tear of some of these greats, the CTE, the reaction time. But like you said, I did love all the people that showed up. I love that they made it a big deal. I love
beautiful.
Yes. That was cool.
Yeah, and I really appreciate Bellator doing that for him, right? Making it such an event that then they had all the people there and stuff. I thought that was really cool. And I like how the MMA community gets behind that, because, we've known people were going to retire. We've known that it's people's last fight in UFC or in other organizations, but we don't always see something like that. So I was like, that was a really cool thing for them to do, I thought. Because Shogun, right? Shogun just retired a couple weeks ago or whatever it was.
Yep.
No fanfare there. The most he got was Paul Felder puts a mic in front of him and gives him a little bit of time to talk even after he loses.
Yeah. And
big whoopee.
That was sadder, in my opinion. Yeah.
Speaking of sad things, here's our good friend Nate Diaz, and he posts. So what was this? BJPenn.com on Twitter tweeted, Anthony Smith, Lionheart, we all know who he is, says he can't get enough of Dana White's Power Slap League. They're my type of people, end quote. And Nate Diaz responds, Anthony Smith is a dumb fuck. That's a huge win for Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
And what
Always
the fuck? How can these UFC fighters be supporting this? Like, it is. So Forrest Griffin is now, I don't know if you've seen the videos because they keep popping up on UFC's Instagram, but Forrest Griffin is the guy that catches you when you die in Power Slap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't realize. I didn't put that together.
It's friggin' Forrest Griffin. He's the guy that stands there, and then when you get slapped in the face and go unconscious, he's the guy that catches your dead body as it falls to the ground. Bisping, I think, is commentating it.
No.
I think so. I think I saw a clip where Bisping was commentating. I don't know.
Him with his whole eye issue and stuff, it's like, you would think he would know better. Whatever. They're all company people. We've talked about this.
It's very sad to me, Brady Bunch. It's very sad to me that these people will support this thing. And
the price.
I know everybody, but what is your price to support this? It's so nonsense. Like, I
agree. No, I agree.
I don't know. It's
it
crazy.
Won't last anyway. Do you really think this league's gonna last? Like, how many people tuned in?
How long? Like, UFC has concussion protocols and stuff like that, right? Like, after the fight, and you've got to sit out for blah blah blah. When you get slapped in the head like this and fall unconscious, how many weeks before you go back in? Like, I mean, what?
Would you want?
Aren't they just going to run out of people? Aren't all their people just going to be dead by the time like the next round comes around?
So I know it's been a while, but I do know that girl that technically fought and got knocked out on that viral clip, right? And I know that she commented when she saw her next podcast, like, oh, I missed it. So it seemed to me like part of her actually wanted to come on the show to talk about it.
Oh, shit.
So, like, if maybe we could squeeze it in, part of the segment one week coming up, if she's still willing to talk, we could ask her questions about, like, the...
Oh, my God. I have so many questions. And it's not... Look, I don't support it. I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid. But I'm more than willing to talk to an athlete that's there and say, like, I mean, I hope she'd be okay with me going, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, you know what?
Like, what is your goal in life? Like, what happened that you're doing this?
So I know she trains jiu-jitsu. I know she was like a super like powerful.
Yeah.
Right. But like, I'd say it's kind of on brand. I don't know. I think some people maybe didn't know what they were getting into. I think some people maybe also thought that it would be easier to win than they realized. Cause that's what I think happens sometimes. These people are like, yeah, I'm going to go slap the shit out of this person. And then,
I mean, if we have one of these people on, then I'm going to have to actually watch an event. Like I will do that. Up until now, I have not watched anything, and that's why I don't know anything. I think Bisping is a commentator and all that. But anyways, congratulations to Nate Diaz, and reach out to that person, Brady Bunch. Let's get her on. Okay, so the Fedor thing, I thought that was a little bit sad. The Lionheart thing, that's sad. And then I did want to talk about, there's been a lot of heat on you lately.
Yeah.
Holy moly. It's getting a bit heated.
Yeah, but it's starting to, part of me trying to decide whether to talk about it or let this stand. Because you know what the problem is?
Yeah.
I'll talk about it.
Yeah. I don't want to push you into anything and be uncomfortable. And again,
no,
I respect everybody.
It's all good, but there's someone who's been on this podcast before, another trans fighter.
Yeah. Well, we can say the name. It's Gita Marie.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So as I've talked about, I was supposed to be in a kickboxing event. I was supposed to take on Brittany Vaughn. It's going to be the first trans versus trans fight. Yeah. This Gita takes my spot, right? Is claiming to be a kickboxer. I believe you have seen, but you don't need to talk about it. I know enough people out there have seen her public comments. I unfollowed her when she was supporting Dana White slapping his wife, right? So that's where I unfollowed her. And then she literally was tagging me all month long, right?
Right.
Saying I'm not a fighter, all that stuff. Fight me anywhere, any place, anytime, any organization. I've heard this repeatedly, right? So guess what? She ducked me once with celebrity boxing. She didn't make it happen. They reached out. She didn't follow up, right? Once the fight's announced, she's complaining. She takes my spot. So guess what? For Albert Ochoa's fight through the Influencer League, which is now a sanctioned league, by the way, right? His belt's going to be sanctioned and all that.
Oh, okay.
From
Nice.
what I read, like the PBC of boxing, I think it is.
Yeah. Yep.
It like backs it, right? So like, guess what? I went and found another organization, publicly posted. They reached out to her. I followed up with her. I was like, hey, did you duck me again? Right? Like, so, but I'm being real, like, honest, right?
Yeah.
And she played it off like, once again, like, no, and they wrote back to me, and I think she was making a big deal that I wanted to be kickboxing. Meanwhile, she's kickboxing in March, right? So guess what? They write back to me, and they inform me that she's claiming she doesn't have enough money to get there, right? That's the reason.
Okay. That's a financial thing.
Guess what?
I mean, but that is okay. But to be fair, that is a real thing. Like we just heard Jena talk about, like, hey, look, I think I was fighting for $0 in LFA when you calculate all my costs.
All right, but I'm gonna be honest, right? So let me add more to the story. I'll respect that. I've been losing some money in a way with this fighting thing in certain ways. Make money, you lose it, paying for the gyms, whatever, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I don't want to even. I have a question. In your kickboxing gym, do you have bags?
Yeah.
Do you use the like stand-up water ones?
Oh, I thought you meant just the kids that I beat up all the time. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. We have the hanging bags.
Hanging bags, right? So I see she's at like a cardio kickboxing one that's using Muay Thai as the name, but there's not a single hanging bag there, right? So part of this story is she goes on podcasts, the same podcast I've been going on, after publicly stating to other podcasts that she'll no longer do podcasts, right? And on these podcasts, what do I see her talking about? Claiming that I'm scared of her, I'm obsessed with her, I'm a troll, I'm the one talking about her, right? And then she makes fun of the organizations that I'm fighting for, right? So she claimed any organization, anytime, any place. Literally this week, suddenly she's claiming that these organizations aren't legit, right? Meanwhile, it's sanctioned. She's full of crap about like everything we have spoken about, right? Like all the messages, right? Like I'm not scared of her, but it's gotten to this point. And you want to know what she wrote? This is the irony to me, and you can't say anything about some things we talked about. She claims she'll only fight me now in MMA. That's what she tagged me in a post today, right? She made a post on her page with like 4 likes or something, right?
These little digs are like,
and want to hear what she said too? And whatever, I'm non-binary. She was like, let's fight like men. Like that's in the post, right? Let's be men, right? And
right.
Yeah, we're supposed to be pushing a trans narrative. I think she's acting a little crazy. I think she is a stan. So after this, I'm going to probably stop talking about her, or I'm going to kick her ass after Brittany Vaughn kicks her ass, right? But here's the truth. I'm so confident. She says she'll only fight me in bare knuckle boxing or MMA.
Okay.
But boxing is one of my specialties. Bare knuckle boxing is something I've been wanting to do. She's been making fun of me. Guess what? She's going to be watching me from the stands, right? Just like she kind of is right now. I don't even know if I want to fight her anymore, right? I don't think she's worth it.
Look, in the arena that you guys are in, I don't know, it's generating buzz, right? Like at least, hey, look, I said, wasn't it you that I said, wasn't it to Jeta that I said she should go to your fight and jump in the ring after?
Yeah,
that was yours, right?
Yep, and she tagged it. That was one of the things when I unfollowed her. She tagged me claiming she was flying the AC.
Right.
These hands anytime, any place.
No, but what I mean is like, at the time when I didn't know you and I only knew Gina Marie, I was like, yeah, you got to generate buzz. And I would say that to anybody. Like, I'm not right. Like, yeah, go generate buzz. At least if a fight between the two of you ever happens, and I do hope that you both win on March 11th. Like, I do hope you both win your respective fights, because that then makes this more realistic.
That's
but right. Like, I mean, I know you're going to win, so fine. But I hope that you both do win, because at least it's creating drama and buzz. And like, for the both of you, what I hope is that then an organization sees what's going on and goes, oh shit, maybe I should sign both these people to fight, because they're going to bring in some drama. I mean, I can go into their social medias and find all these clips and create promo reels, right? Like what we saw with Sarah Ferrugia when she had all her cool clips that she was making on her YouTube channel. Like, okay, these two influencer girls have made promos for me. I don't even have to do it, and I can promote this fight. So I kind of do hope that you. I wouldn't like to see two friends that I know fight per se, but I do hope that you both find success.
Yes.
Right. I am being respectful. I hope you're not mad at me about that.
No, not at all. And
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Just the one thing I got to be clear about. I think I would destroy her. And guess what? I'm going to do this jiu-jitsu a bit longer. I would destroy her in MMA. So I don't want her to go around saying I'm dodging her. I've set up multiple fights.
I mean, we are in a weird world where there's so many different specialties, or like, you know, right, kickboxing or Muay Thai or whatever. Like, and to speak about that Danielle Kelly, right, where she's fighting judo people in jiu-jitsu fights, and it's like, well, what does this prove? So I mean, I guess my preference would be MMA, because then at least just do everything, like whatever, right? If you two want to keep it standing, go ahead and keep it standing. If one of you takes stand, like, you know, do whatever. I will say it's very awkward, because if you are fighting, you would have shin guards on. And if it's amateur, if it's pro, no. Oh, I see. Okay.
Or it depends, you know?
Yeah. Okay,
with this last organization, we could have signed waivers to take the pads off.
Oh, okay. Like the Sarah Ferrugia rough and rowdy fight, right? Like, just no headgear, no nothing, just go to town, and never fought in their lives, and it's looks like a pro fight. All right. Well, like, look, there's a lot going on. For those of you that are interested, you definitely got to follow, at the very least, Brady Bunch, but Gina Marie, both of them on Instagram, are posting a lot of stuff about fighting each other and about your upcoming fights. So.
And the very last thing, someone messaged me today, another trans athlete, talking about possibly wanting to fill in for the fight, right? And they're very talented, so I'm not going to even go into it. But they fought in street beefs. They've, which, you know, thing. They've been in big jiu-jitsu things, right? And I think they've been transitioning. So I may have real competition soon, but okay. I'll shut up about this. Thanks for giving me time to talk about this.
No, and I did want to ask, how is your training going? Is it going well?
It's going so well. Yeah. Today I thought one of my gym mates was going to break my leg, right? Yeah. So like I'm learning more about the grappling, right? The awesome thing is I keep getting accolades from everybody about my wrestling, right?
Nice.
So like I'm out there with people with all these belts, and I'm able to survive or move in funny ways. But at the same time, I'm getting choked out and all that. And that's where it's like, I'm not going to rush into certain settings, because I know when I jump to MMA, I want to have everything as polished as possible. So I'm going to take my time. But the training's been going great. I've been kickboxing. I've been doing every other day jiu-jitsu and kickboxing. But I think I'm about to take a pause, stop with the leg work, and just focus on boxing for a bit with the occasional jiu-jitsu. Because it's fight time. It's like a month away.
Yeah, you're about 1 month out from your fight at Celebrity Boxing. So it's a boxing fight. So you got to get that head movement down, the slips, all that cool stuff. And good luck. It's coming up.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
I'm moving up in weight too.
Right.
So so I'm excited.
Nice. Congrats. Let's see what else. There was something. What was I going to say? Online. I've been getting into lots of fights online with people over dumb things, like the Fedor thing. People were on me about that when I said that he shouldn't have had that fight. People were mad about the Leon Edwards, the Lionheart thing. But what was the other thing recently that I was thinking I should talk about this too, but I can't now. Of course, I can't remember it last second. Which one was it here? The Fedor thing with the money thing. Like we kind of touched on it with Jena. It's really weird if the California State Athletic Commission released a wrong number. Like, how the fuck does that happen? Like, I put a post and people were arguing with me, but I'm like, why would Bellator pay more on the side versus what they tell the commission? Like, why would there be any discrepancy there? So I gotta believe the commission is telling the truth. Like, why would the commission lie about the number too? Like, it's everything's so dumb with that.
See, but I think I heard recently there was something going on in the boxing world, like some drama. So they had the big pay-per-view, Davis's last pay-per-view. Imagine some guy came out, some news reporter, basically saying, hey, the numbers you hear in sales is bullshit, right? So all these people hate on this guy. They're like, you don't know what you're talking about, all this, you're such a hater. I guess he had some controversial thing in the past, lost a lot of fans. But a lot of people were like, no, this guy's always right with stuff like this. So imagine he kept talking about it. And eventually what came out was, well, the organization and the other parties, they haven't come out with anything to contradict him, because if they did, it's illegal. So part of me is thinking, if Bader is like saying that's not legit, like it's probably the same deal, meaning he's probably telling more of the truth. And that's where I'm wondering about like the whole conspiracy theory idea. Is it UFC pulling strings? Like, you got to release this, right? Like,
I mean, that's an incredible conspiracy theory by Jena Bishop, but I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird that the whole thing. But I mean, like I said, I reached out to the California State Athletic Commission. I know we're going out slightly in circles, but I did reach out to the California State Athletic Commission. They emailed me back, so I'm waiting now to hear back. They said they'll message me within 1 day, so hopefully by next week I'll have something from them. Because what I'm asking is that, hey, can you come on the podcast and chat, or can you just answer some questions and I can just relay them? But I'm not asking anything weird. You want to know what I'm asking, just so people can hear what I'm asking? Oh shit, it doesn't have it on the email. Anyway, I was asking, where do you get your numbers from? What do the numbers consist of? Like, does it consist of the show and win money? Does it consist of sponsorship money? Does it consist of pay-per-view dollar amounts? And then why do you release it? Are you like mandated by like the government or something that you have to release these salaries? Like, why do you even release it at all? Like, who cares? Like, why do you do it? And then why would a fighter say that you're lying?
Yes.
You know, like, because doesn't that, like, if you're a company or an organization, you do something and then a public figure comes out and goes, this company's a piece of shit, they're lying. Like, doesn't that make you feel bad? Don't you feel you should have to respond and go, Mr. Bader, this is the right number because I got it from your employer, right? Like, why wouldn't they defend themselves or like counter comment? I don't know.
We will see. Hopefully they do get back to you. Or
yeah, hopefully. But next week we've got Swayze Valentine, so I'm so excited about that. And then in the future we do have Daniel James, the guy that Commander Dale Brown spoke about. So the guy that he said used his move.
Oh, yes.
He's coming on the podcast.
Awesome.
So he fights in March. He's the main event of one of the events. He's the heavyweight main event fight. So he's coming on the podcast. Already lined that up. So that's good for sure. And I did start to film my unboxing video of the UFC watch that I got.
All right.
Bam. It's right here. So I filmed the clips and I just got to put it together, but I don't know if you can see it.
You know what? You see it pretty well, but...
Anyways, it is a beautiful watch. It is, I mean, maybe you won't think so, but it looks kind of like a G-Shock watch, but it looks really nice. Like, I really like it. It fits nice. The design is really good. I'm very impressed with this watch. So if you're out there and you were thinking, are those Timex UFC watches any good? I can tell you the one I got. Pretty freaking cool. And it was only like $100, $125 Canadian. So it's like $12 US or whatever it is. I don't know the conversion. But it's good. It's a good watch. All right. That's it for the show. I think right around now, I'm going to put up a little thing that you can click on that will be the first episode with Jena Bishop. In case you guys missed it, I'm going to put that one up. And yeah, Brady Bunch, thank you so much for another amazing podcast. I really appreciate it. Keep training hard. Kick ass.
Without a doubt.
Kick ass. Focus. No, cannot lose focus. I'm behind you 1,000,000%, as are all the Fight Insight fans. We need you to bring home that bacon, bring home the gold.
Without a doubt. And then hopefully I add to the collection.
That's right.
We'll see.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great day. Goodbye.